Another one of our wonderful videos where we're going to be unwrapping some fantastic products from SMWS, and we have the Admiral, the Commodore, and Matt Bailey from SMWS. You actually head our local chapter.
That's a good way of looking at it, yeah.
Yeah, is that how you describe yourself? What is your actual title?
That's a good question. My actual title is National Ambassador / Development Director. So one half of the role is putting on amazing events for our members, and the other half of the role is growing the society as a club as a whole.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about SMWS and what it does.
The SMWS is essentially the world's leading whiskey club, first and foremost. We also happen to be the world's biggest independent bottler. But it's the club that's first and foremost, because what we do is we take single casks of whiskey from distilleries, from our own stock, from everywhere across the world, the broadest range of distilleries on earth that we have access to, and we bottle them always at single cask strength, just for our members. So they're not commercially available whiskies. They go through a really rigorous panel auditing process to be approved. And once they're approved, we release them in what we call our outturn, which is one here somewhere there, which is then sent to members every month, and they can pick and choose their whiskies from there. But it's also all about our experiences, our events, our partner bars, and yeah, it's just about the whole experience of being a part of a whiskey club. You meet lots of like-minded, great people who love full-flavoured experiences that we do at the society.
Fantastic. And the reason you're over here in Adelaide joining us is for one of these events that we're hosting tonight here at Hains.
That's right, we're doing Whiskey Kisses tonight. It's Valentine's Day right now, so we're doing Whiskey Kisses tonight, which is whiskey and dessert pairings and all sorts of things we're going to try out tonight. I'm not sure the foil will taste that good. And yeah, we're going to do a whiskey masterclass tonight for members in Adelaide. We do events all around Australia. Tonight's Adelaide, last night was Sydney, last weekend was Perth, another one in Melbourne coming up. We're doing events all around the country, so it's always good to get to one of our society events. And I love working with the Hains & Co team because these guys really know their spirits and really have a fantastic atmosphere here. I love this bar.
Appreciate it, mate.
Thank you. Now, SMWS is all around the world. It's not just Australia. These events happen everywhere.
Yeah, it's worth noting that if you're a member, it's a global membership. So you get access to the society worldwide. Our vaults in Leith, the Queen Street rooms, all over. Like no matter where you are.
Vaults in Leith.
Oh, the vaults are so good. I remember spending an entire Sunday there. My last Sunday in Scotland. I got there at midday when they opened. Got myself some bangers and mash. Sat down with a beer and a whiskey, and suddenly it was midnight, and I realised that I'd been in the vaults for 12 hours.
I'm surprised you remembered the name, Matt.
It's hazy, fuzzy, but I'll get around it, yeah.
Excellent.
If you join up too, there's a little bit of a starter pack that I believe comes with being an SMWS member.
You can get the optional whiskey pack to start you off. It's your membership pack. It sometimes falls open when I open this, so wish me luck. Oh, look at that. That was nice and tight. You get your discovery book, your lapel pin, and Cody. 3 whiskey samples to start you off. I think they're 100 ml. And yeah, they are. And they start you off. There's a 17, 25, and 17-year-old casks there, all 3 different casks. We have a coding system that hides the distillery names, so we don't tell you what the distillery name is. There's a few reasons for that, I won't go into right now, but it's exciting enough to see that you're experiencing the flavour and the whole mystique around the actual casks, and you're relying on the flavour and the tasting notes rather than worrying about branding and marketing, I guess.
So the numbers on the bottles relate to what exactly?
Well, so let's use one as an example. So 29.250. That's the 29th distillery to join the society since our foundation in 1983, and that's the 250th cask we've ever bottled from that distillery. We may have been offered up 1,000 casks from them, but panel have only approved 250. And every bottle has full transparency. It's cask strength, so it's, in this case, 59.6%. Region is Islay, that narrows it down to the 8 distilleries operating in Islay at the moment. A distillation date of 1998 and 19 years old. That's pretty exciting. So it gives full details about what's on it, and the full taste, as a tasting note on the bottle as well, on the name. That was called Peat Fire Flame. So we give it a name, we give it a tasting note, but the number means that you're focusing more on the flavour of what's in your glass rather than what the brand name is, because I will just casually mention that's quite a big brand name in the world of whiskey. So we try not to focus so much on the name and focus more on the flavour of what's actually happening in your glass, which is exciting because it's often very atypical. It's actually almost always atypical of the distillery house style, what you might find in their core range. It's something a bit unique.
And is that something you're choosing single cask because they've got a bit of a unique characteristic? You're not looking for that real traditional.
No, we're not looking for traditionality. We're always looking for something unique. The panel picks off uniqueness, not off picking off a particular sort of style, house style or anything. Sometimes we've had some casks from some distillers which are like matured in second fill musket barrels or first fill port pipes and weird stuff and weird finishes sometimes. And yeah, it's always just about the exploration of flavour rather than, yeah.
Fantastic. And we've got a special bottle today that we're going to be cracking open.
This is so exciting. So other than whiskey, every so often we do get the chance to bottle, other than Scotch whiskey, every so often we get a chance to bottle some bourbon, some rye, some cognac, some rum, some Armagnac, and soon some other little spirit experimentations coming, which I can't talk about just yet. But in this case, this is a rum, and Hains & Co are well known as a great place for a rum destination bar for Adelaide. That's true. I mean,
gin and rum. That's
gin and rum.
With a penchant for whiskey and cigars is what we're known for.
So, Cody spoke to me last week and said, have you got something really special in your rum range coming in? And I said, something's just come over. It's R10.2 Three spice crème brulee. It's a 26-year-old single cask strength rum. And even after 26 years, it's held up 61.3% from Trinidad.
Sounds delicious. Now, one of the things I really like about your labelling is, I mean, you come up with such creative names for the bottles.
Some of them get wacky, yeah, some of them get
They
wacky.
get pretty wacky. I mean, if we were to read some of these, fruit pie in a cleaning cupboard. Now that's one of my favourites I think I've ever read. I mean, who comes up with these things?
That's a 93.92. That's a Campbelltown whiskey. That's stunning stuff as well.
Oh, brilliant. But who comes up with all the names for these things? Is it a bit of a panel that then comes together to try these? They then work on tasting notes and they pick something out of that, or
that's pretty much it. They work off the tasting notes, and then the main name of the whiskey is representative of the flavour in that whiskey. So, fruit pie in a cleaning cupboard. You might actually find you're tasting and nosing a fruit pie in a cleaning cupboard, which is just remarkable. And I promise you that the peatier the whiskies get, the crazier the names get. Maybe it's because they're tasting the peated ones near the end and they taste a few on panel at a time. But it could be a case of that, but it's also just a case of just exploring sort of imagery. And sometimes it's imagery of flavour, but other times it's imagery of a time and place. Like it might be a pebble on a beach in winter or something like that, which means that it's you've never eaten a pebble, but you know that it has a certain aroma and a certain smell and time and place, and it takes you to that time and place, which is exciting.
Bit of nostalgia, gotta love it.
Nostalgia, yeah, that's the one.
That is right. Before we drink this, I just want to also highlight the fact that you guys put out a magazine regularly as well with every outturn.
Every quarter, actually.
Every quarter. That's our Unfiltered magazine. It's a remarkable magazine. It just keeps getting a little bit bigger and bigger as well. We're adding more and more content to it. There's a great article about which is a tasting that one of our partner bars over in Melbourne did in there as well, which is great, an Australian article.
Fantastic whiskey and almond.
Fantastic.
Now tell me, we've got Brooke and Julian who run Whiskey and Almond, and they are helping you select some whiskies, I believe, for SMW. Is that right?
Well, sort of. They've picked out their own cask. They've got their own cask, 68.18 is the code for it. Triple Berry Lamington, and it's that's available now through Whiskey and Almond and through us. So that's a special single cask they picked out from Distillery 68. It's a 7-year-old. I'm not going to reveal the cask detail on that one because it was actually hidden by the label in this case. But it's a nice, rich, syrupy, charry cask, that one. It's delicious.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, going back to this beautiful rum we're going to try today at Trinidad Rum, do we have any background information on that distillery and things?
It's a Trinidadian DL, they call it. It's basically, the best way to describe it might be pre-Angostura, if you like. Is that fair?
I would say so. So I think it was established in the 40s. I think Angostura had probably been around before then, but not distilled there or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, but under the same umbrella group.
How this cask came about, it's R10.2. We've only seen 2 casks from R10, R10.1 and R10.2. We might not see too many from this coding system, to be honest, because it's quite old stocks, a lot of vintage stocks that we're working with. We don't bottle something just because it's reached a certain age or reached a certain vintage. We've bottled 3-year-old whiskey, we've bottled 48-year-old whiskey and everything in between. I think 48 is the oldest we've bottled, but it's bottled when it's ready, and if it doesn't pass panel, it doesn't pass panel. It doesn't matter what the specs are or what the distillery is or what the history is of the cask. The actual cask itself isn't as important as the flavour, the end result, what happens in the glass.
And how many casks do SMWS own? Do they have their own warehouse, or do they store it at the warehouses of the people they've partnered with?
Bit of both, but most of our stocks are at the society, which means that we control the spirit and wood policy from start to finish. But it also means that we can sort of also work around some stuff like re-racking and doing special finishes for certain casks, if need be. But that doesn't happen that often. And it's
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I think we should try some of this rum.
Shall
Because, this is our month of rum here at Hains & Co. That's what February is all about here. I don't know if you've watched some of our recent videos, we've just unpacked the Joy, the Appleton Joy, Joy Spencer's 20th anniversary rum. So if you haven't seen it, maybe go back and have a look at that as well. That was super fantastic. Now Trinidad. Trinidad is actually, it's one of the English rums, isn't it? That's right, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. And so they're actually getting a lot of their molasses and things not from Trinidad. They're actually getting it from places like Guyana and a few of these other distilleries in other countries. So yeah, that's it.
And we have about I think we're almost up to R13 in our rum coding system. So we've got 13 different rum distilleries that we are sourcing casks from. So some have high numbers than others, of course, but we've got to understand rum isn't the core range of a Scotch malt whiskey society, but we do like to get some special rums every so often. It's rums and bourbons and cognacs and stuff, which are always single cask and cask strength. And just on that point, having a cask strength rum is rare enough, let alone a cask strength single cask rum. But I can say the same about a lot of the other spirits that we bottle. I mean, bottling single cask strength cognac, for instance, is extremely uncommon. Extremely, in fact, cognac producers don't even know how to take that. So
Fantastic.
shall we?
Now we're tasting in beautiful Denver Lally glasses. These are actually handmade in Melbourne, and I find them to be a great glass to be able to utilise.
Certainly pick the age on that. Almost, it's just there's a lot of old dusty armchair and
For a 26-year-old rum, a single cask, so much of that angel sherry is getting lost over 26 years. But there will still be, how many bottles are in this?
240.
Not a lot.
It does smell fantastic. You can tell it's got that alcohol in there too.
Deep, rich, dark caramel notes.
Ooh. Some rums, when it comes to some rums, for me personally, I find that some rums can often be almost just overly sugary sometimes. It almost tastes like they've finished the rum and then they've added white sugar to it.
Some dosage.
Some dosage, yes. But in this case, I don't get that. I get a...
It's a big debate in the rum world.
Definitely right. At that sort of a percentage, you wouldn't expect them to have added any sugar. It is a bit of a big debate in the rum world because sugar has always been added, and obviously they sort of say, well, it's like champagne. There's a dosage in that as well. But certainly the people at the high in the rum world are saying, don't do it. Let things speak for themselves. I mean, there are some rums that taste fantastic with a bit of sugar added, so I'm not taking anything away from them. But certainly, if you can do it all naturally and be able to present a beautiful rum, well, isn't that better?
Especially if it's in a traditional style of that region.
God, I do get even coconuts on this at the sort of top end of that too. I haven't put my lips in, so I'm still just. It does have a lot there.
Normally, a rum that kind of age, you don't get those tropical notes. You get a lot of like old leather and in this case, there's still those tropical notes in there.
It really is. It's really up there. It's got some kick too.
Eyes watering just a little bit over here.
Oh, but it is delicious, and it's got such a long finish to it too.
I'm also one of those whiskey and rum appreciators in a way that I do like adding a drop of water now and then to rums, to whiskeys, I should say. Sorry, but I rarely add water to rum, and I think even at that proof, even at 61.3 or whatever it is. It doesn't need any water. It's sitting very nicely at that proof.
There's almost this true caramel. I don't tend to add any ice or water on. I actually find it ruins a rum, and certainly around the lower percentage, 40% marks. This I'll probably try it just to sort of see what came about from it, see if it opened up and improved it. But I often find that rum doesn't work with water, which is pretty interesting.
It's interesting.
You find the same thing.
Yeah, I find certain younger and bourbon cask whiskies, I find a drop of water, even a generous dash of water, can really open it up, get a lot of the aromas out. But generally, I say old whiskey, sherry cask whiskey, and rums, I just tend to steer clear of adding water as a.
So a beautiful Trinidadian rum. Thank you very much.
Thank you again. Yeah,
Thanks
cheers.
for joining
Cheers.
us.
Of course.
I look forward to hearing you speak tonight too at our special Whiskey and Kisses event. It's going to be great fun. Matt Bailey is a wealth of knowledge, and it's always such a delight to always have him down.
Thank you so
So
much.
I'd like to thank you very much for your time, and
Thank you again. Yep.
from us, here's the Lifting Spirits.
Here's Lifting Spirits.
Cheers,
Thanks,
guys.
and a big thanks to Hains & Co. for having us tonight and for having us here right now and for having a bit of a chat about some top rum, and that's on the bar from tonight, I believe.
Absolutely.
We'll be having it on the bar from tonight, so come and enjoy some. Cheers.
We're going to leave you here, guys, and keep drinking.
Cheers.